What's up guys, today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be just audio and me showing off one of the cards that stuck out the most to me in yesterday's spoilers. This card is named Tsukuyomi Noble and it's a 2-drop white. Its resonator type is Myth and Moon, which is absolutely insane because it being Moon not only applies to its own effect, but it also means that you will get to draw when you summon this with Kaguya as your ruler. For people that haven't seen yet, Kaguya, the 3.0 ruler, gets to draw every time a moon enters the field. So if you play this card on turn 2, you get a 5/7, which is absolutely ridiculous. Stat wise, it's great. It can even block Lancelot. You get the fact that its continuous effect is players cannot play activate abilities of resonators they control unless they control a moon, and because this card's a moon, you don't even have to own your own moon other than itself in order to meet this requirement. So your activates are totally safe. Your opponent must control a moon to be able to use their activates, or have to deal with this card, which is very difficult unless they use something like Stoning or Flame of the Outer World early on, and that's assuming they can play those colors anyway. Its awakening cost is to pay 1 moon, and when this card enters your field, you can destroy a target non-moon edition, and if you do, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on this card, so it would become a 7/9. Right outside of Flames Range, which is actually pretty great too. It seems like every time I see spoilers, I think Realm of the Pure Spirits might be seeing more Play Next format with the Alice deck, and I mean the Tree of Yggdrasil Alice deck, and it seems like Primogenitor might use some outside field spells, and so does the Fire Ruler. Other than moons anyway, so it destroying non-moon editions I think is still totally fine. If you go into the in the mirror match with Kaguya, and if you can control and there's other cards that destroy moons like Dream of Juliet, and Edition hates cards like Sinbad as well. And so if you can control your opponent not having a moon, you essentially have a free way to negate all of their activate abilities. I mean, well, they can't play them at all. And your Kaguya ruler stops all automatic abilities, which we know are enter effects, for example. So you're stopping all of their activates, and then Kaguya is stopping all of their enters, which I think is just absolutely amazing. They made I was really hoping Light was to get a card that really showed off what Light can do, and we saw a lot of resting cards this spoiler set, and we've seen a lot of them in the first one when they showed like Striking Slash, which was a Kaguya spell that rests at a target J/Resonator and you draw a card. It seems really cool that Light can play its own form of control where you can keep everything rested with cards like that, and keep your opponent locked down by not being able to use enters or activates. I think this is actually exactly what Light needed. I would never anticipate they would make something that's this powerful, and it's in no way broken or anything because it does have its own requirements and it does die to most kill spells. It's just, it makes it very just in the place it should be, because Light has been really underwhelming. It's been a color that can only splash in other decks but never play like a full just Light deck, and I think that this card's really going to change the way they play. I mean, you wouldn't play all Light anyway because I feel as though you can still use the green, of course, that Kaguya offers and whatnot, but to have such a centric Light monster that just makes so much of a difference, I think is absolutely insane. The stats, the type, the fact that it's moon and you draw a card with Kaguya alone, like, it's a cantrip with this effect that's 5/7. Like, I can't get over how incredible that is. It can't get thundered. It survives most things other than like Stoning. What I will say though is, if I play this card and you're playing Kaguya, I personally am probably not going to use Kaguya's Regalia. I think that if you open with the Regalia and you play this card on turn 2, you're feeding directly into Space-Time Collapse for a Primogenitor matchup. I think it's really ridiculous that they would be able to destroy your Regalia and this card, and they would just use one card to take out 2. I think you'd end up feeding into it too much, and of course you're still drawing cards when using cards like this, but I think the way I'm going to plan on playing Kaguya anyway is going to be just without any Regalia. I'm going to probably use 4 Moonshade and 4 Moonlight, because now that we know that Foment of the World Tree is 2 green and you can heal 800 life, the off life that you have to pay to use certain cards with Moonshade doesn't seem so bad because you can heal it away, and then you can always use it as green for all your other cards as well, so you're not paying life. And it seems like it's going to be really strong to be able to use Foment of the World Tree with Kaguya to be able to always mulligan your hand into the proper setup. You have absolute control and you're always using cards that draw. Like, that card replaces itself and mulligans your entire hand. If you mulligan into combo pieces that have to do with moons, like let's say Campanella for example, you can put away any pale moons or whatever if we get more blue moons. other than the Tsukuyomi, the Moon City, we can always put those back with Foment and keep the Campanella in hand. It gets rid of Moonbreeze Elf if you get kind of late game and you don't really want it anymore. It makes Anamboli more live because it gives you more targets. There's just so much that you're going to be able to do with Kaguya next format that I think this card allows, that it's just absolutely amazing. What I'm also really curious about now is that we see that Tsukuyomi is a myth, and of course Susanoo is a myth as well. We might be getting all of the Japanese gods, so I think the other one is like Kagetsuki, or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but there's another one, and then I think there is Yamato as well, and unless Yamato no Orochi, but that one's, I don't think that one's a myth, so I think Yamato is completely different, and we might see that one as well, and it might be really cool because Susanoo's fire and Tsukuyomi's light. Maybe the primogenitor Lapis will get a dark one, and it'll be, you know, just as insane as this one, and it would be so great for, you know, them to have like this kind of war between their gods, and the control of the field would just be so different. I mean, I can see these kind of cards slowing down the game to the point where you're allowed to set up combos a lot more, and it's just gonna really end up being who can out set up the opponent and just get damage in as fast as you can without taking too much time. But you're gonna have a lot more time in general than you would in a reflect format, for example, of how we only played off 2 to 3 stones, but the turns would only, you know, your turns were longer and they mattered more, but you wouldn't get too many of them because in a deck against like Alice World or something, if they go off, you just automatically lose. So this card has just been absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see what else all the other colors get. I'm super interested in all of the decks right now. I can't really even pinpoint if I'm going to play Kaguya. I want to say I am because everyone knows I'm the biggest Kaguya fan, but we still don't know everything. I want to see the whole set before I really make up my mind. But anyone who is thinks this card isn't as great as it is, you need to really just take a second and reevaluate it, because this card is possibly the greatest white card in the entire game. I think even Guiber has nothing against this card. It's just way too powerful. It stops early setup, it makes your opponent waste kill spells, it replaces itself so you can even get to more copies of it or other important cards faster than your opponent can. It's just, this card is incredible. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any other questions or don't understand any of the concepts with this card or any of the cards we've seen, let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, because I have a ton of more videos coming. If we get something spoiled on, I guess Thursday night for us in the West Coast, and you know, it's like Friday for people in Japan, but I'll probably be doing a video on anything else that really sticks out to me too. So subscribe to see those, ask me anything you guys have any questions on, and I'll definitely catch you guys next time.